Did you know that there is a kind of theater where people will act out your life in front of you? Welcome to Theater History Thursdays. Today's topic is playback theater. This video will be building on the last couple of videos on improvisational theater more broadly and Spolin improvisation. So if you haven't seen those two videos, please be sure to check them out. Playback theater is another form of improvisational theater where audience members are invited to share stories from their lives, and then members of an ensemble will reenact those stories right in front of them. The first playback theater company was founded in 1975 by Jonathan Fox and Joe Salas, and it developed a home base in Dutchess and Ulster counties in New York State. The group traveled to schools, community centers, prison, and other events, and they let people express and process their experiences through the power of collective storytelling. In 1980, members of the original company traveled to Australia, and then playback companies were formed in Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, and Wellington. They are some of the oldest playback theater companies that are still working today, but there are also now companies that work on 5 other continents. And then in 1990, the International Playback Theater Network was founded. And then with this success, in 1993, Jonathan Fox founded the School of Playback Theater, and in addition to companies that run across the world, there are also many accredited training centers. During a playback performance, an audience member will volunteer to tell a story from their life, and then they will choose the cast from the ensemble who will then perform the various roles within the story. The audience member doesn't provide any kind of specific direction, but they just watch with the rest of the audience as this moment in their life is recreated right in front of them. Performances will also include a mix of both short form and long form scenes. There are many specific techniques to playback theater, with actors often using non-naturalistic approaches to tell a story. One technique is the fluid sculpture, which is a kind of theatrical picture, and each actor will join in with a specific sound or movement that adds to the texture and understanding of the moment that is being recreated. Other techniques in playback theater include tableaus, a chorus, vignettes, and often playback performances will also include music. Playback theater also serves as a way to create community within a theatrical environment. It wasn't necessarily intended to be a therapeutic practice, but a lot of therapists are actually trained in the technique and will use it as a way to help clients process their personal experiences. Playback theater has also been brought to a lot of spaces that lack access to the arts, like public schools and prisons. It can be used to work through a lot of issues surrounding injustice and human rights, and is altogether a really powerful tool to promote accessibility and community in theater. While New Perspectives hasn't done specifically playback theater, throughout its history we have conducted many arts and education programs with vulnerable populations and young people. Personal stories have often been at the heart of the theatrical works created, with improvisation being a really valuable tool to develop material that is used in performances. Especially important projects have included workshops with children in temporary housing, the real world with students at an alternative high school, and workshops with adults who are experiencing trauma after 9/11. That's it for playback theater. Make sure to come back next week for more theater history with New Perspectives.